Hey guys, welcome to Vanishing Gates. As always, I'm your host Jay, into the weird, the strange, the 40, and the unexplained, the downright stupid at times. And hey, tomorrow's Easter, so have a wonderful time on your Easter holiday if you have one, or if you're Catholic, or like Easter, or like eggs, or you're from Easter Island. None of that makes sense. So both my co-hosts decided to flake tonight. They were supposed to both be here, and they aren't. Go figure. It's super dope. Now, we had some issues getting the broadcast started because we had issues getting the broadcast started. Self-explanatory. So we're in this episode tonight about talking what you guys want us to talk about. So questions you have about the paranormal, the unexplained. What do you guys want us to talk about? Well, us is me tonight, so you get to pick my brain, not three brains, just this one, and this one is kind of malfunctioning. So, that said, we did have one person who brought up something very interesting prior to, wanted me, to talk about sleep paralysis and what that means, what causes it, night terrors and whatnot. Who knows, maybe our dear friend Nick will call in from Chicagoland. He probably won't. He's kind of a butt. Anyway, so sleep paralysis. It's a big subject in a tiny little ball. And what most people go through are like the old hag syndrome, or like hagging, as they used to call it. And a lot of people... So James in chat has sleep paralysis, I guess. Well, what happens a lot is you're sleeping and you feel like you're being overtaken by something. Some people have extraterrestrial visitors, images. Some people have like shadow people in their dreams, or demonic presences when they're having the sleep paralysis or night terror. And a lot of the time what happens, it happens mostly with people that back sleep. So if you sleep on your back, you're more likely to have this phenomena happen to you. And in my experience, as a person who has sleep paralysis at times, when I sleep on my back, I can't breathe well when I'm on my back. It's probably early onset sleep apnea. So your mind slips into some states while you sleep. You go from the hypnagogic and the hypnopompic. So as you're going into one state of sleep, as you're getting deep in, you can have those night terrors or those crazy visions that actually affect you. And as you go into the other part, hypnagogic or hypnopompic stage, when you're kind of waking up from it, and that's like when you have those dreams when you're walking, when you're like half awake, half asleep, and you're like laying in bed, but you imagine yourself walking and you trip on a crack and then suddenly you wake up. That's the other one. Well, in the first one, the hypnagogic, you're in your deep sleep, you're REM, and you're having a dream, but your brain basically tries to associate all the stress from your day and whatnot with a dream. So you have nightmares if you're stressed. Your brain breaks it down because it's trying to heal you. Now, your brain pumps chemicals into your body to kind of level you out. So it actually anesthetizes you. So you get an anesthetic from your brain, and your body is kind of like, there. But your brain has to keep control of it, keep your heart pumping, all the organs, whilst trying to level out the stress of the day. So when you get in the hypnopompic stage, or hypnagogic, one or the other, I don't know, I'm not a doctor. Basically, you get in there, and you get stressed, and so with your brain, and your brain's trying to keep you alive. The reason back sleepers have a bigger problem with it is because you have a harder time breathing. Because of them, I had to learn to sleep on my tummy in chat. James, that makes perfect sense, because what's happening is, for a lot of people, you lay on your back, you have a much harder time breathing. So your brain is trying to keep your body alive while having all this stressful momentum going on in your mind. Well, when your body's on your back, you have a harder time breathing. So if the brain realizes you're losing oxygen, you're basically asphyxiating, and the brain is trying to save you. It's trying to wake you up. So what it does a lot of the time, and most people will say, well, I got out of the state because I called on my higher power, or I talked about God, or I yelled God's name, or whatever, or I said something that motivated me. Well, that is your brain igniting part of you to stay alive. So it gets your body reanimated, where you can breathe again. So you can take the air into your lungs. Sad and simple explanation to something that could be an awesome phenomenon. But it's pretty frightening when it happens. I've had night terrors and sleep paralysis where I'm being attacked by demons. I've had sleep paralysis where I'm being abducted by visitors or aliens. I've never been, by the way. And Nick in chat says he apologizes very dearly. He's not wearing nipple tassels like he should be. Oh, that's what he said? Oh, see, it's technical problems. So I don't know where Jack and Paco are tonight. They were both supposed to be here, and they both did not show up. That said, it's the night before Easter Sunday. So, yeah, that was the one thing that came up with sleep paralysis, and no one else had anything they wanted me to talk about. So now I'm just here with you guys. Stock in chat says best co-hosts ever. Yeah, you know, I could hire co-host Salmon, and they might be better co-hosts. They would taste better. Spread with cream cheese. Skype is a thing that walks. Well, James, in chat, why don't you tell us about the nightmares? You can Skype me. It works now. Vanishing Gates. Come on, James. Get on the ball, buddy. I feel like the Alec Baldwin talk show episode where he's like, waiting for a caller. 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 No one on the line? No callers? That's how I feel right now. Turn on Skype. Apparently I have to turn on Skype. I didn't think it was off, but alright. Guys, I'm turning on Skype to take Skype calls. I think. Alright, well, Skypey Skype is on. I'm new to all this. Well, there we go. Oh, Nick's there. Nick? Hello? Try this here. Ah! Oh!
Well, hello, Vanish. Well, let me kill myself.
So much noises. So none of your picture. Oh, here we go. Turn this on here, huh? No.
Put an eyeball on, buddy, so we get this broadcast going.
I did. It's not showing up.
You clicked the eyeball?
Yeah. I did. I clicked the eyeball. I see you. They don't.
Well, that's weird.
It's probably because we started the program after we did the call. Or before we did the call.
I don't think it makes a difference. They can hear me, correct?
Yeah, they can hear you, I'm sure.
We'll have to look at what we did there. I mean, just so everybody knows, this is Nick. I'm the one that broke it. I fixed it. Been gone all day, working on my wife's car. I just got home. It's 10 o'clock at night. Jason called me. He was about to eat a 45. He couldn't
whoa. I wouldn't waste the 45
so
money on me.
I figured I'd fix it. But we're back. We're online. Yay!
Hey, Gordon, how are you doing in chat there, buddy? Yeah, so if you guys have anything you guys want us to talk about when it comes to the paranormal, the unexplained, the supernatural, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot, or even video games, super dope. Dave says it's better we don't see them. You know what, Dave, you're missing out.
Stock said, first of all, sir, I'm going to need you to refrain from your comments. That's the first thing, okay?
Stock, you're missing out. He has a really cute little wife beater on.
I think I'll talk about that because obviously we got screwed the pooch on this one. So, what's your thing?
Well, I don't even know what a thing is anymore. I might light a stogie here and just fade into the abyss. Nick, what'd you think about the guy that our friend Matt Madman Hughes, who launched himself in a homemade rocket to prove the Earth is flat?
Oh my God, that is awesome.
You know, I can't
The
talk.
last statement he made, the fact was, I saw the horizon. Yeah, well, we all see the horizon every day.
Man, I can't talk shit because the guy made a rocket. I can't talk shit because the guy made a fucking rocket and he launched himself and he survived it. If I made a rocket and I tried to launch, I'd be toasted oats.
A rocket. He made a rocket. I mean, you can't argue facts. Okay, that's logistics.
No,
right?
that
The man made a rocket.
Yeah, Mofo lifted himself off the Earth into the air in a fucking rocket. I can't do that.
I want to watch him because of what he's doing, but you can't. So, yeah, I mean, good on him, I guess.
You know.
So what we're talking about? We're talking about night terror. Is that where we were?
We were talking about. We had someone that wanted to hear about night terrors and our grasp on where we come down to the night terrors and the sleep paralysis phenomena. So.
Sounds like a good plan. Everybody who's maybe typing hatred messages to me, I don't have them up because unfortunately right now I'm trying to get it for work for today. But I am willing to call in and be part of Juice. Night terrors. I've had a couple night terrors in my day. I just had one actually not too long ago. You know, you get the common ones where you get that sensation of falling.
You're cutting out pretty good there, Nick.
Gun, thought I was going to get killed.
Cutting out, buddy.
You know it. It's definitely a scary situation, I guess. When's the last time you had a night terror there, Moo?
You're cutting out. It hasn't happened for a while. I've learned to control how I sleep. So.
What's going on here?
Guy, thanks for watching Vanishing Gates. Thanks for sticking with us. If you guys have stories, please let us know, either in chat or in email. And we lost Nick altogether. Guys, again, don't forget to subscribe, like, and follow. And if you're in Northern California, in Eureka, check out Dio Sandwich Shop, our long-running sponsor there. And
Jason, let me call you right back here, bud.
All right, buddy. So check out Dio Sandwich Shop in Eureka, California at 429 Grotto Street in friendly Henderson Center. Fortuna thinks this is a friendly city. It's really not that friendly. Mention Vanishing Gates and you'll get a discount on your meal. Don't forget, if you're in the Portland area, which is many, many miles north of here, to check out my favorite brewery, Sasquatch Brewery, because these guys like make the best beer and they have the best service, and their food is dope as all get out. Plus, Sasquatch. You can't hate that. If you guys need business cards or bumper stickers made, check out ProPrismDesign.com. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me better now?
Oh, I can see you on screen too. Oh, Sheila. There we go. There's some Nick in the corner. That's a really flattering frozen screen right there. OBS hates you.
Yeah. No, it's my end hates me today, trust me. My end has decided that it wants me to die. So, anyway, sorry I had to leave you for a minute there. When did we leave off?
Well, I don't remember.
I don't remember.
We talked about,
we talked about neck chairs, and I had asked you, when's the last time you've had a really good neck chair?
Been a while. The last one I had was, it's funny because I can actually categorize them by what I was experiencing. And it was actually, the terror was aliens trying to grab me and take me out of the room when I started kicking them in the fucking face. And they said, oh, this one fights back. And they stopped and left. So, I finally got to a point.
That's a special type of special, ain't it?
Yeah, I got to a point psychologically where I realized it's all a load of shit for me. Maybe not for everybody else. But it also ties into alien abductions and shadow people too, so.
Yeah. Well, I had one not too long ago. Which is funny because I actually woke up out in the backyard, out the back door. Not really sure. I can't really remember what the dream was about. I remember vaguely I dreamt that somebody was in the back property and that I was going to go look to see what was out there. And then when I woke up, I opened my eyes and there was a guy by my back fence, like just subconsciously I must have known, I don't know, ESP, whatever you want to call it, that he was there. That scared the crap out of me. From that point on, I don't really sleep very good.
Was that the dream or was there actually a guy there?
No, it was really a guy back there. I woke up, there was a guy there.
And you didn't blow him full of holes? What was he doing?
I really gave it some conscious thought, but I decided to take the higher route and be a happy person.
No, I would have shot him.
I love the broadcast right now with the picture of me doing the dimple face. That's awesome.
I know. Why? I don't know why you're not, like, your actual video screen isn't here.
Greatest things.
It's just a screenshot of you being goofy.
I just saw that. That is classic.
Hey.
That is classic.
Hey guys, if you like bugs, you gotta love Vanishing Gates because that's what we do. Buggy bullshit.
Oh my god.
So, yeah, that's a pretty crazy thing. Like you actually like sleepwalked into your yard and there was somebody there on the property?
Yeah, it was next door. But it's the first time in my life I've ever think I slept walk.
See, I've sleepwalked before too, but never like that. It's always been, I have to piss. or I'm really, 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 really something I'm not going to talk about on this podcast.
Let's keep it PG-45.
Yeah, because these guys are used to that. And if they're still with us, they know better.
They know better.
But the whole sleep paralysis thing is pretty intense because back in the day it was old hagging. They would imagine a witch that would come on top of them and like hold them down and choke them out, basically. So
right.
A lot of that I think is cultural. It's a cultural mindset for sleep paralysis because you're imagining something, you're dealing with something, and your body is dealing with a lot of things, and your brain is trying to make it all function properly. And I think that's where it comes from. Like, back sleepers have the most problems with sleep paralysis. I've made a good effort not to sleep on my back for that particular reason.
Right.
That said...
I think a lot of it has to do, honestly, with how you're sleeping, too. I think that'll affect you. I think if you're sleeping comfortably, you tend to sleep better. When you're sleeping uncomfortably, you tend to sleep restlessly.
Yeah.
So I wanted to touch base with you on a cool little subject. Something I read this week here. Out in the Siberian tundra over the last 5 or 6 years, they've noticed these giant holes in the ground, right?
Okay.
I don't know if sure,
I didn't know about that.
Just giant, massive holes just in the ground. It looks like meteor craters, but you can tell the stuff has been blown out instead of blown in. And for years, they thought it was natural gas being trapped under the permafrost and giant packets of gas, and then they explode, blah, 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 blah. Well, just 4 days ago, I guess, a expedition team was out in the tundra and actually caught this phenomena on camera. I'm trying to find the video.
Really?
Yeah, to see if I can't tag it. But here's what's cool about it. So they got this video. It happened at nighttime, right? Because obviously it's still winter time there. It's nighttime is 6 hours a day and the rest of the night. It happened middle of the night, and you see this giant explosion, fireball, right?
Yeah.
It's blue. It's bright blue, bright as just unbelievably blue. Shoots up in the air, and then you see it fan out into like this cone shape. It looks like a tornado.
This happens on camera?
It's some kind of fire wisp or something. But comes to find out that these explosions are so intense. It's methane gas basically what's doing it.
Okay.
The explosions are so intense and methane is so light that when the explosion happens, it actually shoots flame, gas, and the explosion all the way into the actual stratosphere, into outer space itself. And now they're worried that, there's been a couple satellites have gone down over Siberia. They're thinking that this might have been what took them out over the last 15 years. I was just reading this article. It's really, really good article. I kind of keep on top of weird stuff going on in the news, just because, we're always looking for an idea for the show.
Yeah.
I thought you might get a kick out of that.
No, that's crazy. That's awesome.
Did you hear about the Arizona incident outside of Flagstaff?
No.
Yeah, there was an Arizona incident outside of Flagstaff, or Arizona UFO incident outside of Flagstaff 2 days ago.
The two pilots saying the same thing?
Yeah. Yes.
The 747 pilots both recorded it, same time as logged in?
Video did. See, now it's come out today that one of the pilots took a video on his phone, and American Airlines seized his phone.
What? American Airlines. We're we're hiding aliens from you. American Airlines. We'll beat up Korean guys who just want to go home, and also we don't want to acknowledge UFOs.
So here's what's funny about this spot where these guys spotted this thing in Arizona. It's actually a very well-known UFO location. A lot of your viewers may understand what I'm saying. This is the location in Arizona in the painted desert where the Starman murals were painted by the Hopi Indians.
Oh, wow.
This has happened over. So that just can't be a coincidence that happened in that exact same spot. Both pilots said that they saw an object raised from the ground, float midair. When they approached the object and started to report it over the comms, the object took off, shot. I think one guy said 5 miles to the east, and then the other guy said it stopped, shot like a mile straight up, and then shot out of distance off to the west. So, I mean, it can't be a coincidence that both these guys saw this incident.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be, but I doubt it would be.
It's unlikely.
Right. It doesn't sound like it's just some random act that happened. I think what Vanishing Gates should do is sometime we should get a group of people out there out there in Arizona. We got some people out there I know, and get them to go out and do some night spotting for us.
Dude, I've been trying to get MUFON on the show for so long. Anyone from MUFON.
I'm talking to a friend of mine in MUFON right now in chat.
Well, tell them we need MUFON folks to be on the show because it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, I'm trying to get him to come join the live chat right now.
And I'm pretty open about my UFO experience. Like, I had a UFO, literally, though, unidentified flying objects experience when I was a kid going camping with Dad. This thing didn't make any sense. So,
funny thing about it, Moob, 90% of the people on the planet have had some kind of UFO experience.
Here's the crazier part, too, I've noticed when I was looking at the numbers. Most people that have UFO encounters tend to be more into the supernatural in general, the unexplained.
Yep.
So here's the thing I want to cover this right now. The paranormal, by the way, does not mean ghosts. Paranormal means anything outside of what is considered normal. That's the only reason I don't call this the Vanishing Gates Paranormal Show, because people misunderstand that term. They think it's just about ghosts. I've had ghost hunters that I've talked to and interviewed. Well, you're a paranormal show, but I want to talk about my alien encounter. Cool, talk about it. It's paranormal. It's not about ghosts. Paranormal means outside of the normal sphere of activities. It's a bad nomenclature. I think paranormal's got a bad name. It's been too tied down to one thing. So paranormal means anything outside of the normal, guys.
Yeah, paranormal just means anything outside of the normal.
But
so it looks like D. James Cox there has got his
Skype up.
He's got his Skype or Duda up. Jerk, you want to go ahead and send one of us your Skype name? We'll add you to this conversation.
Hey Nick, can you do that with TeamView? Do I have to open that up?
I think I could just add him to this conversation, to be honest with you.
All right. Well, let me know how that works. If you can do it.
Add people.
Maybe we'll get our buddy James here. He's a good guy, folks. He's a good gamer. Nice fella. Bad haircut. Nice fella.
Let's get him in there. Let's get him on the call. There it goes. Here we go.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this might be working.
Let's see.
Is this a thing?
Is this happening? James?
I can't tell.
James, you beautiful angel, you. I see me in the corner.
I see you all in.
Photo of you there, I think.
Huh?
Take the photo out of the corner, Mo, real quick.
Where? Huh?
What?
I just see you. Oh, now your beautiful tank top is up.
I'm beautiful. Ask me.
This is gonna be great when we can actually get Skype to work the way we want it to. Hey Nick, interview James. I'll be right back.
Everybody needs to be wearing chains. Hold on 1 second.
Two chains.
Person. Did I end? Wait a minute. Did I? Wait a minute. What the? Oh, I got it here. That's what we do. All right, let's do this. Q say I, Q say go. All right, so I guess James will take off. Hey, there's James. Hey, James, how you doing? Welcome to the Vanishing Gate Hour with Nick. James. Jay is a bastard, left me alone.
Well, hi, Nick. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, let me turn the volume down on the video.
We're just going to take over Vanishing Gates. This is going to be us today.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Call me, kids.
Hold
Hold on, let's mute Jay out of his own broadcast.
Don't do that. You guys, you're missing the most beautiful full moon ever.
So, yeah. James, you ever had night terrors or a night terror experience you want to talk about with the group, or anything paranormal you'd like to explain, or
Masturbating to Winnie the Pooh?
for Jay?
I've been riddled with night terrors most of my life.
Really? Well, you want to explain them, or explain an instance?
Yep.
Or?
Talk about it.
Well, I remember, I think the scariest one I ever had, I was around 13. And I was, sleeping in an unfamiliar place.
Subway sandwiches?
Well, no, I was spending the weekend with my dad's girlfriend.
That happens. You didn't get caught, right? Alright, don't worry about it.
And we're spending the weekend there, and I went to bed, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and it felt like I had, somebody of a large stature sitting on my chest. you know, and I had trouble breathing. I couldn't move. I wanted to scream, yell, but I couldn't because this this presence that I was feeling was so overwhelming. It really scared the shit out of me.
That's rough.
And I must have laid in that bed for 45 minutes, what seemed like 45 minutes.
Right.
And finally, I had a moment where I could, get a real, grasp of air and was able to move. And the only thing I did was sit up and cry like like a 3-year-old child.
It's rough, my friend.
Damn.
Do you think somebody was actually holding you down? Do you think maybe you were having a UFO experience, maybe an abduction experience?
No, I think if it, I put it to paranormal. A ghost presence sitting on me and attacking me.
Right.
Yeah. Because A, I was in a new environment. B, the house that I was in was over 150 years old. It was up in the mountains in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
So it was an old farmhouse.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's your first clue to having something messed up happen to you, right
Yeah.
Your Scooby-Doo clue.
I mean, I was just out in the farm today working, and I gotta be honest with you, I didn't even want to even go near the barn. You could have paid me to go by the barn today.
But that could just be like child abuse back in the day.
Well,
Recurring memories.
I'm not really sure.
Memories of the abuse that's left behind.
Kill me. I can't talk about this.
Well, James, thank you for sharing. That's both unsettling and also unsettling. I guess that's about it.
Actually, settling? I mean, whatever.
It's not settling, that's for damn sure. Shakara in chat, happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
We love you. So,
Your face. We heart your face. I heart your face.
like radio.
But it's really weird, because throughout my life I've always experienced some form of or another of paranormal activity.
Well, I've noticed that with people who seem to have one kind of phenomena happen, they tend to have
Multiple phenomena.
exactly. And so I always wonder if this extraterrestrial thing is not the UFOs and stuff, if it's really extraterrestrial or if there's something more spiritual happening. Like if there's a combination of things. Maybe it's interdimensional crap. I don't know. Like it's like the Mandela effect and people remembering crap wrong, So I don't know, dude. Like that's my suggestion is don't sleep on your back if you don't want night terrors.
Mr. Jason.
Yeah.
I was in a country. I was exploring on a hike going up this mountain. I came across a old barn. I entered the barn even though it was halfway collapsed. I was looking for junk and treasure, and I kid you not, as soon as I entered, I saw a figure leaning up against a post with the light shining, from its back. So I saw a silhouette of a person, and it scared the hell out of me. And after I was able to pick myself off the ground, the figure was gone.
And this is like your night terror, your dream.
No, this
in
was
real life.
all day.
So you were actually exploring a weird barn, and you actually saw basically some kind of like vanishing figure, some silhouette,
some silhouette of a human leaning up against a pole, just leaning against one side, just like, what can I do here, type of thing.
Yeah.
As I crawled through an opening in this barn, half of it already collapsed, and by the time I picked myself up off the ground, the silhouette was gone.
Huh.
That's weird. That is
That's
weird.
pretty cool. I mean, like, I don't know, dude. Maybe it could be an echo of the past, a ghost. Did it? You couldn't interact with it, right? Like it was gone.
Hey, let me ask you a question real quick, real fast, off topic. Jay, what is your stance on afterlife and reincarnation? That's a good subject.
My stance or James's stance?
Both here. We'll start with Jay.
Let's
and
go
we'll
with James.
James and Jason, whoever wants to field this first. Don't anybody rush at one time.
I have no stance on the afterlife.
What about reincarnation? Do you believe in it?
No,
No?
no.
You guys may not know, but me and James are actually really good friends. We have been for a very long time. Well, me and Jay are very good friends too, but yeah. So I find that weird for you, to be honest, James. You know, some of the conversations we've had, I would think that you would be a believer in the afterlife and reincarnation, but yeah, I can see why you don't.
I've tried. I've had experience with something. I can't say. Is it a ghost? Is it ET?
Right.
Yeah. Has it scared the shit out of me? Have I pissed myself? I was scared so bad? Yeah.
That's a big man to admit that, James. In front of all the 10 people going to watch this show.
But the fear and the terror was extremely overwhelming.
Yeah. Jason, you ever had a moment of clarity there where you were so scared you couldn't think straight?
No.
Something just terrified you so bad that
I got one.
shook your very bones?
One, the reason I stopped surfing.
Yeah.
I'm not scared of much in life. I'm that guy that tends to find my problems and headbutt them until they die. But one thing I did have happen. I was surfing out here on Trinidad, which is a place not too far north of here. Nick, you know the area a little bit. And the reason I stopped surfing is I hopped off my board. I was about waist deep in water, and I stepped on about a 6-foot mud shark. Now mud sharks, they don't attack people much. They can bite you, but they don't want to fuck with you. Didn't matter. I stepped on this fucking thing. The ground went away. I hopped back on the board and wussy paddled, and I never surfed again. So there's a couple things in the world I'm scared of. One of those is sharks, and the second one is carnival rides. I found carnival rides later, much later in life, that I was mortified of those two things.
Yeah.
And that's both of them are from a technical standpoint. They'll both kill you regardless what you do. There's no fighting it. If I'm on ground right now and a shark tries to come up to me, he's going to lumber at me and die before he can bite me. Whereas a carnival ride, I've seen the amount of teeth these people have that put them together. From an engineering standpoint, cotter pins, they can hold some weight, but not so good.
So good.
Not so good. Not good enough for me.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of rides either.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We're here, buddy.
Alright, I was just putting on my headset so I wouldn't have any feedback.
I think one of the scariest things for me, to be honest with you, something that chills me right to the bone. I am afraid of open water. I'm not afraid of boats. I like boating, but I'm afraid of me personally being in deep open water where I can't see the bottom.
That's pretty common.
And that actually carries over to even pools, like pools, swimming pools that are super deep. I just won't swim in a super deep pool. And I feel like if I can't reach the bottom within a body length, I don't want to be in that water.
Okay. That makes sense.
But I'll tell you something that actually terrified the hell out of me as a child. Out where I grew up at, there was a cemetery called Moon Lake. And on Moon Lake, there's an old farm that's out there. And there's always, kids talk all the time as a child, oh, well, that barn's haunted, and the lady...
Jason Voorhees?
Yeah, Lady of the Moon Lake's there. And if you go in that barn, and now we're talking a barn, guys, that was built in the 1700s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this barn's old. It doesn't have power. There's no electrical lines going out there. Nothing.
And for the guys who don't know, Nick is in the Chicagoland area.
Chicagoland area.
It's different than here.
I grew up in the barn one night out the lake because that was our hiding hole and our hanging spot in my teenage years. And look over about a mile across the way through this open field they had just been taken out, and there was a light in the upstairs window of the barn. And we thought, okay, well, somebody's over there. Let's go check it out. So we get in our trucks and we drive all the way over to this barn to the field. And as we approach the barn, light goes out. Well, we get out thinking, well, somebody must be afraid we're here. So we jump out the truck and screaming, hey, don't worry about it. It's just us. We're just chilling, blah, blah. You ain't got to be worried about it. We're not calling the cops. All of a sudden, out of nowheres, which just, I don't know if it was just happenstance or it just happened, but it just scared me to my freaking bones out of me. A bat flew out of the upper window and landed on my shoulder.
Landed on your shoulder.
That is one of the few times in my life I could truly say that I may have defecated myself.
You made your own guano.
I was mortified by that happening, and it took me a very long time to want to be outside. This is the reason why I was scared of the barn and the farm today. I still have problems with it. That's the reason why I'm scared of barns. Old barns, I do not like.
Every time I see a barn, I just want to bang somebody in one. I mean, you and I have a totally different feeling.
But I don't want to be attacked by the lady of Crystal Lake or the damn bats.
What about La Llorona? That's kind of mortifying too.
Yeah.
I know it's not related. Maybe it's a good time to talk about why I named the show Vanishing Gates. I don't know. Maybe we should wait. What do you think, Nick? Should we go into it or should we wait?
I think we should hold off to that. Let's make them earn that one. That's privy information. That's fancy information.
It really is some privy information.
Yeah, well, let's do it this way. If we get 250 views in this video this week, we'll post another video during the week with the reason why we're called Vanishing Gates.
If I get 10 video views this week, I'll be impressed.
Alright, we probably got 22. Calm down, Spunky. I'm watching live analytics. So, once again, guys, everyone who's watching now, I want to apologize for the broadcast issue this morning or this afternoon. I should have been on call, but unfortunately I had a prior engagement.
Well, we're just trying to make stuff work, guys. So, we'll be here for you. We're trying to make stuff work. We got to round things out properly so you guys can be calling us on Skype and whatnot. And I do think that there is a number associated with the website that I've never tapped into, and I need to do that. That's my fault. I need to get in there, guys. It's the night before Easter Sunday. It's what it is. I don't know where my co-hosts are aside from El Nico. He's there. Our tech guru. And James is here with us. But my co-host...
here every week.
I know. James has been watching this show. James, I'll give you this. You've been one of my longest standing viewers, and I appreciate that, and I love you so much.
Double gold diamond dealio.
As soon as I make shirts, you're getting one, buddy. As soon as I break down and get the shirts made, along with like 5 other people. I have not done a good job with that.
As soon as we can afford to make shirts, buddy, you get one, okay? As soon as...
Yes, score. Here you go, Nick.
Nice.
I guess if I checked out ProPrismDesign.com, I could probably have some shirts made for a pretty reasonable price.
I'm just saying, if you ever want to do a website, maybe it's a quick ever do. You just let me know, buddy.
All right, Nick. I'm going to bring this up because it's coming up here pretty soon. On April 13th, which is a Friday, I'm going to be interviewing someone about Dogman.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Good, huh?
Yeah, our touchy subject where it never works out for the show, but this is Amanda Lawson, and she knows her shit. She's written books about it, and it's going to be good, I think.
I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be a pre-recorded episode because, guys, I'm trying to do more of that now that I figured that part out. We also have Ken Gerard going to be on the show here pretty soon.
That's going to be
the
big.
world-famous cryptozoologist. Yeah, probably around June, I think. I've been talking to him. We're trying to schedule him in. He's agreed to be on the show. And we have some other things coming up. It's going to be really cool. And now, guys, if you have people you'd want us to interview or topics you want us to discuss, make sure you email me at vanishinggates@gmail.com. That's with 2 G's in Vanishing Gates. And let me know. And I will. I'm trying to talk to Rosemary and Ellen Guiley. A lot of other people, too. We had Jim Harold on the podcast recently. That's a big deal right there.
That was a big deal.
That is. Jim was such the coolest dude ever to be on. Jordan Bonaparte from the Nighttime podcast out of Nova Scotia. That was a huge show. We had Rex Williams on the show. I don't know how we're having these people on the show, but it's working out and it's being dope.
It's been... The show is steadily getting better. I know there's been a couple of people who said, well, you know, you got to work on the broadcast, you got to do this.
Yeah.
We're making efforts now to actually clear up technical things.
Yes.
So that this year could be our first real year of high-end, high-quality broadcasts.
And it's free for you guys.
There'll be a new sets and new intro and probably some new logo stuff worked out, new website, and maybe we'll work on a merch store. That would be nice.
Yeah.
And let's see if we can't make Vanishing Gates a big thing. And we have the viewers, Jay. We have the viewers. We just have to reach them. We've got, as of this point right now, we've got 94 viewers of this video so far.
That's pretty awesome.
That's the people looking. We just have to keep them close in. I know a lot of them don't want to bring up subjects to talk about because they don't want to be put on blast. Well,
yeah.
Bebop Boop told me, well, if you don't want your name said, fine, just we won't say your name.
Yeah, that's why I say email. Email us. I won't say your name unless you ask me to say your name. If you ask me to talk about a topic, I won't do it. It's just rude and unaccounted for. Now, that said, guys, we are looking at Halloween coming up. I know you guys think it might be a far away thing. To me, it's already right around the corner. I'm actually going to do a haunted house walkthrough this year for Vanishing Gates on my property. And the goal is to have people that want to help me out. This is going to be a free thing for the kids. Big candy bars, wonderful things. We did our Halloween show last year from the front yard whilst we carved pumpkins. This year, I want to do an actual walkthrough haunted house the weekend prior to Halloween. So if you're in Eureka area, Humboldt County, and you want to help out, let me know. I'll buy pizza and beer. As long as you're 21. You know, so we want to keep the things going. Hey, Cleo in chat, how are you? Guys, we really want to focus on what you guys want us to talk about. We're trying to build the show more. And we've done a good job. Guys, we couldn't get this far without you. We are like 65 or 67 episodes in. We're over a year in. And we have had the greatest people watching the show. Our viewers are part of our life as Vanishing Gates. You guys are part of the show.
I got to ask a question, Jay.
Yes,
James. A couple weeks ago, you had an author on your show. Have you got around to reading any of that book?
I've got about 3 pages in because it's about the time I've had. And I'm trying... Matthew Brockmeyer is what you're talking about. The Kind Nepenthe.
Yes.
Yeah, I've gotten a few pages in. No, I've gotten more than 2 or 3. I've gotten almost a chapter in, and honestly, it's not... It's good. It's not bad.
I'm enjoying it. I bought it on my Kindle, and I'm definitely enjoying the book.
So what did you think?
Cleo wants us to talk about sleep paralysis.
This is... Okay, so when I mentioned that someone I know wanted us to talk about that topic... That was Cleo, and now she's joining us. Cleo, you're a little late to the show, but we'll go through it again. But I do want to cover what James is asking about the Kind Nepenthe. Honestly, James, I'm liking the book so far. I would suggest, James, if you bought it, go to Amazon and give him a review, because he's a cool dude, he's local to me, and he'll be back on the show soon. Anytime he wants to. Matthew Brockmeyer's welcome to be on the show again. Nice guy. Really cool dude. So let's go back to the sleep paralysis talk.
All right, let's get back on it.
All right, so Cleo, you want to talk about sleep paralysis? Have you had any experiences yourself? Let us know in chat. Keep in mind, chat, you guys are about 30 to 50 seconds behind us on what we see. We can cover the bases of it again. We can just regurgitate sleep paralysis. So,
love regurgitating stuff.
Hey, James, how about you tell your story once more about sleep paralysis if you're still there?
Well, I was about 13 years old. I traveled out of state with my father. We were visiting and staying a weekend at his girlfriend's house. And, they didn't have room, for extra company. So I ended up sleeping in the attic, on a little pull-out sofa. And I was laying there, sound asleep on my back. And I woke up with just this fear of terror and doom just overwhelmed me, and I wasn't able to move. It felt like I had a very large person just sitting and pinning me down on the bed. Couldn't make any sounds. I couldn't move. I just lay there in sheer terror, and the terror, was just so overwhelming. And what seemed like 45 minutes of terror to me, eventually this bearing weight was lifted, and I was able to sit up. And all I did was sit up and sob like a little 3-year-old, because the fear was just so intense, and it was just outrageous.
Yeah.
I did have some red marks, which was kind of weird because I couldn't move. How did I get red marks on my body? But I had some red marks, but the fear was just so overwhelming. I never spent another night in that house.
Okay.
When it came to us spending time at my dad's girlfriend's house, I slept in a car.
I don't blame you.
I refused to sleep in that house.
That's pretty intense, man. Like, I get that. Did you have them afterwards? Did you have any more issues with sleep paralysis afterwards? Did you have more?
I've had them most of my life. It's just that one was like the extreme. I've had bad, I've had ugly, but that was the extreme.
The most intense. Yeah.
Yeah, I never woke up with red marks, but I had red marks. But that one to me was the scariest one ever.
That's super intense, man. Like,
that's crazy. That's really crazy.
I've had a lot of sleep paralysis issues. Not to cut you off, James. Continue.
Yeah, it's bad enough when you refuse to sleep at a location because of an experience, but ultimately my actions of what happened there end up ending that relationship with my because of my father was wanting to protect me. Well, and my fear was just so overwhelming that the relationship ended because of it.
Could that have been you breaking up Daddy? Or was it a real, like... I only say it because I know you, James.
I would sleep out in the car. I would bring a tent. I would sleep in a tent in the yard in the middle of winter, refusing to sleep in the house.
That's insane, bud. That's a lot. Like, that's pretty freaking intense. So those of you who are watching the show that don't know James, he's one of the most straight-laced dudes I know. Very kind guy, very giving person, very cool dude. He wouldn't just make this stuff up. That's not really him, That said, having experienced sleep paralysis on multiple occasions myself, part of it for me is the physiological part of it. I don't know, Nick, have you had sleep paralysis?
I've had sleep paralysis. I've had sensations of being choked. Woke up with marks on my neck when I was younger. I've had sensations of I was being held down by my arms, my hands, my wrists, my ankles. I've had I'll tell you a weird one that happened to me a while back when I first met my wife. Before we were married, I was staying with her at Dad's house one weekend, and I was laying in his room. He was sleeping on the living room. I was laying down in his bedroom, which is where I slept because, just a white thing to do. And sleeping there about 3 o'clock in the morning, I heard a voice. Just like not even a voice, just a rumbling, a murmur. It's like somebody growled, and the blanket I had across my chest went up over my neck and was cinched tight. And me and my wife and those guys, I literally was so upset and scared. I got in my car 3 o'clock in the morning, went to the Catholic church, and was refusing to go back to the house.
Oh wow!
Because I felt like something was trying to get me, like it was some demonic spirit or some kind of evil spirit that didn't want me there. We just live in this off area in the woods, and at night sometimes you'd look out in the wood line, and you would see shadows that were moving. And there's nothing there. But you would definitely see shadows that were moving out there. And it seemed like every time I would see something off in the woods, that night I would have some kind of weird experience, like my arm being held down. I used to sleep on my arms. I used to sleep like this on my side, and I would have my arm just pinned to my chest, just so hard I couldn't even move it, or my legs. I fell a couple of times because I thought I jumped out of bed, went to go take a step, and something was holding my ankle in the middle of the night. So, I've had a couple incidents there. I haven't had no incidents since I moved to this house. We've been here about 15 years. So, but it's been about 12 years since I've had a major incident, but never in this house, thank God. But my kids have said that they've had incidents there at night. When they were younger, they used to talk about a little girl who lived upstairs, and I live in a 150-year-old home. They used to talk about a little girl who lived in their closet. And at one time, this house used to be a boarding house for orphans, for children.
Oh, damn.
So, there's a lot of weird stuff here. Like, there's carvings in some of the older wood of little girls' names and weird stuff. You go in the basement, there's coloring on the walls, on the brick with scratched in. Now, mind you, my basement's about 4 foot tall, and it's stone. It's not even brick. It's stone. My foundations are stone foundations, which is kind of weird and scary. There's like pictures of hangman games scratched into the wall. Makes you think, what the hell was going on in this house? But this house was shut down at one time for abusing children. So, I've had some weird stuff happen to me. Never in this house. My kids have had a couple weird things happen to them in this house. That they've woken up the next day and said, "Hey, Dad, this has happened to me." Or somebody pulled the blanket off of me. That's happened a lot to them. Like they'll be sleeping and something shanks the blanket right off the bed.
Oh, that's creepy.
But sleep paralysis. Jennifer, I think at one time, my middle one, she told me that she woke up one day and couldn't move her arms. Something was holding her arm. So it's. I'm Catholic, but I'm realistic Catholic. I understand there's stuff going on around me that can't be explained. I'm also educated enough to know that we can't be the only beings in the universe. That's kind of ignorant. But it's hey James.
I do not sleep without my rosaries above my head.
It's like it's.
That's how bad my terrors have been.
Definitely, it's definitely a situation where it is what it is. But yeah, I've had a couple experiences. How about you, Jay?
Me, for like sleep paralysis, yeah, lots. Mine I wish I can get you guys up in Skype properly so we can see all your doings, but we just have the screenshots here and there.
So it's a screenshot. That's all matters.
Yeah, we're working on it, guys. This is our tech guy Nick and my buddy James. We're talking about all sorts of things. Sleep paralysis wise, yeah, I've had many encounters with sleep paralysis. For me though, it comes down to when I sleep on my back. I know what's happening. My brain is over functioning, I guess. For a dumbass like myself, my brain actually functions quite frequently, believe it or not. And when I lay down sometimes and I go to sleep, I have sleep terrors, night terrors, sleep paralysis. And for me, I know what it is now. And so it's harder for me to slip into that. After doing the show, to be honest, the last episode of sleep paralysis I had was right before I started doing the show. I actually had a vivid night terror of extraterrestrials, greys, as you would, as some people call them, dragging me out. And what I fought back. I started kicking, started punching. And the last thing I remember from that was the one gray going, "This one fights back, we have to go." And they walked out of the wall, and I woke up just fine. In a cold sweat, but I was fine. Now, correlate that to other episodes of sleep paralysis I've had. I've had sleep paralysis where it's an old hag syndrome or hagging, an old witch sitting on my chest where I couldn't breathe. But before, I didn't know what was going on. I was slipping in and out of the hypnagogic and hypnopompic stages. Now, I've had those dreams still where I'm partially awake, partially asleep, and I'm dozing off, and my subconscious is taking over, and I'll see like a chicken, and the chicken will trip me, and I'll feel like I'm tripping, like falling over it, and I'll wake up. So it's kind of, for me, it's more of the physiological. Now, I know that's not to negate anyone else's, experiences, because I know other people have different experiences, encounters. I know people see shadow figures and the Hat Man and whatnot. For me, I've seen shadow people without going into that stage. It's a thing that happens. They're there. I see them. Don't know exactly what they are, but I know they exist. So I don't know, man. It's just for me, it's easy to explain myself, where I can break it down to my physiology and how I sleep and how my brain works and how my body functions. Whereas other people, it's much harder to wrap your head around. So, I don't know.
I found that it got so bad for me, growing up, where, I've practiced many religions, and I would definitely say it stemmed due to the fact of my night terrors and the nightmares and my paranormal experience. I was showing Nick here just last few minutes, there's things that I have, around my bed. I have several, Catholic medals of different saints. I have a couple sets of rosaries. I have several different versions of holy books. I'm not a person that goes to church every week, but these are the things I have to give me a peace of mind so I could get something that looks like sleep.
James, I found that pretty common in people that have sleep paralysis. Is a matter of what stops it a lot of the times is when you can finally get the words out. It's usually your figure of belief in religion. It's usually the most powerful deity you can conjure in your mouth when you can finally speak. I've woken up from sleep paralysis, and maybe I'm being wrong about it. Maybe I have had experiences, but to me, it's sleep paralysis, and it's scientific where it comes out. What gets me out of it, a lot of the time, is I call on my God, and that's what gets me out of it. And I wake up with a dry mouth, unable to hardly talk, in a cold sweat and a panic.
It's so bad I sleep with a gallon of water by my bed. I understand.
James, have you ever had weird things in your body? Well, outside of college.
Well, this is getting personal.
This
is some Vanishing Gates right here.
Well, I did go through some treatment a while back. I don't think that was what qualifies as weird.
Some injectable treatments. We'll talk about it later.
Well, keep in mind though, was it Patient 17 or Person 17 is a documentary that's on Netflix right now about the guy who had an implant removed from him?
Yeah.
Did you?
To me, what I went through, many months of treatment, yes, it could have could explain some of my issues growing up. Just a few years ago, I went through, treatment, which my doctors thought was a tumor, which come to find out it was just a cyst. But the cyst was in my brain.
Okay.
Maybe that as a cyst, was continuously growing, maybe that caused some side effects.
Maybe. I mean, that would make sense, but also maybe it opened your mind up to some other things and brought up memories. Have you ever had like a past regression thing done? Like, have you ever gone down to a hypnotist and tried to see what you were seeing in your night terrors?
No, I don't know. No.
I don't want to know. Fuck that. Nope.
No. Not going down that road.
Well, it might help. Maybe you'll find some answers there, man. Do a regression
Maybe
hypnosis.
Answers I don't want to find.
You ever heard "Don't poke the bear"?
I get 4 or 5 hours of sleep. I'm good with that. Let's don't make it worse.
Jack, leave it alone.
No, I poked the bear. I always poke the bear. Bear looks hungry. It doesn't see me. I'm going to poke it with a stick. What's it going to do?
Bear necessities, huh?
No.
Bare ass necessities. So, Nick, how about you and sleep paralysis? Like, you talked about some of your experiences. I've had them. You've had them. James has had them. What do you think about extraterrestrials? For me, and that's being asked by Cleo in chat, what about aliens?
I was saying, Cleo's just sending us off today. Hey, good job, Cleo. Good job.
She is setting us up for a victory. Miss Cleo. Not the psychic, but the good Cleo. She's awesome.
I believe in extraterrestrials. I firmly believe in extraterrestrials. Like I said, I'm Catholic, but I'm educated. So, yeah. Firmly.
See, I'm big on the Fermi complex. Not complex. The Fermi.
Firmly.
I believe.
The Fermi paradox. So,
paradox.
The universe is so vast and expansive and large, there should be life like us, or more advanced than us, many, many places from here. The idea of us actually meeting them when it comes down to math and what Fermi said is, it's unlikely, so unlikely that we will ever experience another alien civilization before we're extinct. It's irrelevant at that point.
I'm broadcasting. Do you want to say hi to everybody? The whole world can see you. Say hi.
Hi, kiddo.
Hi,
Well, they can hear you. They can't see you because OBS doesn't work that way. Oh, pretty girl. Curly hair. Don't shave that head.
And now we're being sued. Anyway.
But so me with the Fermi paradox makes more sense. As vast and expansive as the universe is and the galaxies are, I think we're unlikely to meet intelligent life like ourselves. The idea that we've been met by intelligent life already is mathematically irrelevant or unrealistic. I'm not against it. I'm not saying it couldn't happen, maybe, but it's like the black-eyed children. I believe those are a thing. I wouldn't give them the extraterrestrial slant. I know that Jack does. He's not here tonight. That's his thing with the black-eyed children. But I'm just saying, man, like the reality of it is I think Fermi had it right, where the universe is so expansive and time passes on such a pattern. Now, interdimensional beings, maybe. That might be more logical for us to encounter than actual extraterrestrial beings. So we might actually be encountering multi-universal people, you know? That makes more sense to me.
Here's what I believe. This is just my view. You know, we have a society where we talk about Atlantis and all these other great societies that came before us, technology. We found some of that technology now, you know, off the coast of Greece.
We found that battery in Iraq. That was pretty insane.
People forget that in the pyramids they found 4,000-year-old batteries. They were there for a reason. They did something.
Well,
mostly gold plating, I thought.
The Oxford Bell?
Yeah. Well, that's someone made that. I mean, that's something that's. It's just how they build the piles. The piles for the batteries just go, James. It's not that big a myth.
Yeah,
I know it comes
the
up.
Oxford Bell has been running consistently for over 140 years.
Yeah, and it will run for, they assume, another 150 years because of how they did the piles. So what makes the bell go back and forth, and they actually had to restart it once, most people don't realize that,
Yeah, it had to be restored one time.
Yeah, it's the piles actually cause the magnets to go back and forth and cause it to move. It's not really that crazy science for the Oxford Bell. I know it comes up with people, but the reality of it is it's a really, really cool piece of engineering, but also terrestrial. Not so unexplainable.
Here's a fun fact for everybody. Every ancient civilization ever found on this planet, every ancient civilization ever found on this planet has some kind of cartouche, picture, or inscription that shows an airplane.
They also have a story of the Great Flood. Every ancient civilization. Same story about the Great Flood. So, where are we at, guys? I mean, we're here. Like, I know we talk about evolving and moving on and being more technologically advanced, but really, are we? I think we're regurgitating ourselves over and over, and we've just got it into a precipice where we haven't had a big enough natural disaster to wipe us away yet, where we're finally getting to a point where we can do these small computers and make peanuts into laptops. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. For instance, Elon Musk launched Titan Heavy. I want you guys to understand what that means, viewers. Like, that rocket can take us to Mars. And the pods that came off, 2 out of the 3 came down and landed upright just based on GPS where they were supposed to go. That said, a guy in Southern California who believes the Earth is flat just launched himself on a homemade fucking rocket into the atmosphere.
1,700
So, Elon Musk with a basically.
The smartest crayon in the box, but he did it.
Let me tell you, motherfucker, Elon Musk has a bigger budget than the U.S. government and can launch Titan Heavy. This guy has a steam-powered fucking rocket and launched himself into orbit about 360 feet, 700 feet. I don't remember how far he got, but he landed safely, and he's going to do it again. That was a test launch. So, guys,
we're getting off subject and we're growing over time here. Jay, I'm going to call a night for myself. It is 11:45 at night here at my house, and I want to go to bed. So,
well, that's what you get for living in Chicago.
It's been fun broadcasting with you guys tonight, and all the people who tuned in to watch us and listen to us.
Yep.
Thank you for your support, and hopefully I'll get the live video thing figured out. And,
we'll figure it out.
James, thank you for joining us tonight. Hope we can do this again.
We love you,
I'd love
James.
to have you on whenever you want. Maybe we'll do some group broadcasting. I don't know. Maybe Paco and Dipshit will show up and do their job.
One day, one magic day, they might show up.
One magical day, we're all going to be here like a family.
Nick could be here from Chicago, but Paco and Jack couldn't show up from Eureka. So
maybe I should go to West Virginia and do an episode of the Mothman for you guys.
Yeah, you know what? If you go to Point Pleasant, I want to see a live stream of it, because that would be awesome.
It's like an hour and a half drive for me.
No more excuses then. Get on it.
James, thank you for having me tonight. You guys have a good night.
James, Nick, thank you. So, all in all, guys, we have covered sleep paralysis, and that's part of it. We've also covered some other strange things, some anomalies, some weirdness. James, what are you going to bed, James?
No, sir.
Okay. James, what do you think about ETs, extraterrestrials, aliens?
Real.
Hands down real, huh?
Without a doubt, ET is real.
So,
like I said, I've been in the middle of nowhere and seen figures, in the middle of the day. But, which makes me believe in ghosts. But I have seen things in the middle of nowhere that just can't be explained. Nick was talking about a light in an old barn that was, 150, 200 years old. Well, I've seen lights in the middle of woods. And I'm talking national forest, or even as goes far as, family property. At one time my family had 348 acres of land
Wow.
We owned over a half of a mountain in Tennessee. Um, Believe it or not, the property is actually famous. I think it was in the 50s. They had a bell-shaped UFO crash land on my grandfather's property.
Wait, well, hold on. That was your property with the Bell UFO.
Yes, they landed on my grandfather's property.
That was on your because I know what the Bell UFO is. That was on your family's property.
Yes.
Holy crap! I know, guys in chat and viewers, you might not realize what that means, but that's a big deal because a lot of people think that was part of some testing that was going on by the military. This big bell-shaped cylinder thing, unidentified thing, would pass through in different places at the same time, but also at different times. It was the same thing. So that was on your grandfather's property.
Yes.
That's intense. Oh, we have to talk about this again, too. When my brain is actually functioning. That's insane, dude. Like, that is a famous phenomenon. The Bell UFO.
Yeah, my grandfather wasn't able to access that, get anywhere near that property for years. The government just got, domain over the property.
Well, yeah.
And he still had to pay property taxes. That's the way the government was running back then.
And now? Hasn't changed.
Well, now they would just take the property from you.
No, that's true.
And they give you an unfair market value.
Yeah. So,
because
what did your grandpa describe about the bell? Like, can you give us more detail? Did he give you a lot of information?
Oh, I've heard him talk about it 100,000 times growing up.
So, describe to us how he described to you what happened, because this is a big deal.
Well, it was right after, on my grandfather's property, he had a old sawmill. Okay. And this was like just months after the sawmill burnt down. He was getting, and, he has been working on tearing down the old sawmill, which ran, using water power, to actually operate it. And he was tearing down one of the walls when he saw the bright light come above him, and crashed right on the edge of his property. And, he said he hopped in a Strathor and he trekked, and traced it down, and the destruction was astronomical. He said it was as long as a football field, if not twice as long, and everything was burning and on fire, and, no matter how close he tried to get to it, he just couldn't get to it. But he remembers, because it was his property and he was the first person there, he had to go through decontamination at the time, when the U.S. government finally arrived, him, my grandmother, because she made it out to the crash site too, and I can't remember, he's talked about, interrogation and what he saw, and, it was just really weird, because at one time the government pinned him, and gave him house arrest on his own property, and it was funny because, the government, took control of quite a bit of his property, even areas where the crash site wasn't, just to house the U.S. Army.
Yeah, that's like, I've heard about this crash thing for years. I didn't realize that you actually had a direct relationship to this, and that's awesome. It's nightmarish too. I know it was tied into the Philadelphia experiment too, so
it whatever the actual crash was, whatever that bell that never landed was, because that's what my grandfather would say, it looked like a bell, but it never landed. it stayed in constant flight.
That's what a lot of people said. That's
Yeah.
the theory I've heard. I've heard some undisclosure stuff that it's a time traveling device that the government used. Like
That's why I believe in E.T.
That's insane, man. Like, I didn't realize that your family actually had a direct connection to that. That's awesome. Like,
Yeah.
that situation itself is it's huge.
If you ever, I mean, if you ever heard my grandfather talk about this story, you would see the look of fear on his face.
Well, yeah, there's no doubt that it happened. I just didn't realize he's one of the eyewitnesses on his property, because there was eyewitnesses, but not a lot that had their property directly impacted.
Yeah, that was him in Tennessee.
That's amazing. I'm actually taken aback, dude. Like, I didn't realize we play video games together. I had no idea that your family had that direct correlation to the bell. Holy crap!
I don't know if you can see my video feed.
I cannot, unfortunately. I can see your picture on Skype. I haven't worked the Skype thing out yet. I'm kind of lame that way. But
He was scared.
did he get pictures at all or
Like-
anything like that?
Yeah, like the government allowed him to keep.
Well, people are, they're crafty. I don't know. I was just curious. But yeah, they wouldn't. Good grief, James. No
No.
wonder.
I mean, when he would talk about it, the look of fear. I mean, it's like he just got. No, he was so petrified when he would talk about it. I mean, even years and years and years after it happened, he would still get scared.
So he didn't see any beings. He just saw the craft, the bell.
Well, he didn't see the bell until they were getting ready to load it. That was the first time he ever saw the bell.
Oh, so
He could not get close to the crash site because
he was at
the
touchdown.
impact was so severe. No, he said it never touched the ground. It was in constant flight.
But it stayed there and didn't keep moving?
No, when it crashed, it created the crater, and it stayed in the crater.
Oh, wow. See, I
And
didn't know that
and
part.
the government, believe it or not, according to my grandfather, the government came and they reworked all that earth.
So, James, there's a question for you in chat. What are your family members' thoughts on aliens after that event? So your family members in general, what were their thoughts on aliens after the bell?
There's a lot of us that believe. Like, we really, truly believe that E.T. is real. Just by the way my grandfather and my grandmother would go into description of the whole incidents, just made just about all of us believers.
What kind of person was your grandfather?
Kind, hardworking, humble man.
Salt of the earth kind of guy?
Yeah, he was a tobacco farmer.
Okay. Just a regular, ordinary dude. Probably went to church on Sundays and...
A Joe Schmo, guy that wore bib overalls every day. And
Did the event change him directly in a way that you would notice, or...
It gave a whole new level of scare. I mean, when he would talk about it, it would scare him. Like, I don't know if it was like repercussions of what the government said, or it's just the whole incident, or this object that never landed, got to him. But it is what it is.
Did he ever say what the government said to him directly, or did he keep that quiet?
He always kept that quiet.
Okay. So the government basically said, shut up or we'll whatever. And he just kind of went with it?
Yeah.
Okay. Makes total sense, actually. Like, knowing our government, uh, it hasn't changed that much. Um, did he have any other experiences prior to that, or was that the first thing that ever stood out?
That was the first thing that I've ever heard of, any of my family members.
But they were all affected by it afterwards, huh?
Yes.
That's that's amazing.
To answer Sandra's question, a lot of my family and the other portion that don't believe think it's all a hoax.
Well, I mean, as a skeptic myself, I can say it's not a hoax. Too many people saw it. It was too well documented, the Bell craft. I just know it as the Bell. So, I know about it here in fucking Northern California, umpteen million years later. So, it's not, like I said, that's a huge deal, and it's just intense. That I had no idea, man, that your family had that close a connection.
Yeah, that's us.
Have you ever had any other extraterrestrial encounters? Have you seen UFOs yourself aside from that?
Oh, I really believe I've seen UFOs. Like what Nick was saying earlier about the barn. I'm sorry I deviated from that.
That's fine.
Yeah, I've had similar experiences. I'm an individual that loves to go and hike and go everywhere. I enjoy walking around, and and I go hiking and I go camping all the time, and I've experienced lots of stuff. I've gone middle national forest and found lights and tried to investigate, knowing that, A, it's the middle of the night, B, it's the national forest, and C, I shouldn't even be in the forest at that time of night, and go and try to investigate, and no matter how close I got to the light, I never got to it, and even when I decided to drive a vehicle to try to chase the light, when I got to it, before I even got to the destination, it was gone. I've seen bright orange, amberish light like a bonfire in the middle of the woods, and I've tried to trace, but yet I never saw a fire.
Huh.
I've seen like extremely like sun bright, like white light, like it was just overpowering. Like I kid you not, it's like the sunlight in the middle of the forest at night, and I can never find it. What I thought would be the destination, by the time I got there, it was gone. Did I see the light go out? No, it just disappeared.
Yeah. I've had.
So do I believe in ET.
That's yeah. I mean,
how else would you explain seeing a light so bright? It's like the sun is actually out.
I've had that happen in the woods myself when I was younger, camping and stuff. Wandering off in the woods.
I mean, like bright, like afternoon sunlight in the middle of the woods. It's like dark 30 at night, and 1 minute it's bright, like the sun is shining, and the next moment it's dark, but you don't see the light disappear. No matter how much you try to chase the light, you never get to it. But when you think you're close, it's gone, and you're wondering what happened.
James, do you think you've been abducted?
No.
No? Are you saying that because you don't want to think you have, or you just don't think you've been abducted?
I don't think I've been abducted.
Have you ever had missing time?
Yes.
I mean, that's one of the most common signs of people who are abductees. Suddenly you're there hours later not realizing what happened. That could also mean you had a seizure. I mean, I'm not a doctor, man. I'm not.
Bright lights, in the middle of the night, strobe lights, to someone that has suffered from epilepsy, could happen.
Yeah.
Stranger things have happened. And I have suffered from cysts on the brain.
So, yeah, I mean, hypothetically, maybe...
I'm not going to, say I have not had it, but I say I could be prone to it.
Do you think the cysts were caused by otherworldly beings? Or do you think it's just a genetic thing that happened to you?
No, I think it's more of a genetic thing.
Okay.
But then again, how I discovered it was a cyst, I mean, the possibilities are kind of like slim and none.
So how did you discover that? Because I know you went through this a little bit ago, not a long time ago.
Hey,
I know you were having pretty bad headaches while we were talking and stuff. We were playing games together, and then suddenly...
I had a fall. I hit the back of my neck on the edge of my dresser.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow it magically erupted the cyst.
It actually popped the cyst.
Yeah, the cyst erupted. It didn't, I don't know if it popped, it just, it didn't make it ready.
Well, that
explode.
That probably saved your life.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing like, 95-degree weather, wearing sweatsuit, claiming that he's freezing while it's 95 degrees outside.
Yeah, you're not in touch with your feeling there physically.
Yeah, I went through some rough times.
Oh, I remember, buddy. You didn't know something was wrong, but you knew something was wrong. You didn't know what it was.
I mean, I took photos of myself, and I kid you not, it looked like I glowed in the dark.
Well, maybe maybe the visitors did get you.
You never know. It was there one moment, next moment it's magically gone.
And you're doing much better now. The headaches are gone, or are they still coming around?
I rarely get them now.
That's good, because I know you were having a big problem with headaches and noise for a minute there.
Oh, yeah. Like, there was times where, mutual friends of ours, while in a group chat or party chat, however we'd like to describe it, would get muted, because they were just way too loud.
Oh, yeah, no, I know.
And it wasn't because, I was being mean, it's just they were too loud, and I could not, it was either A, be a part of the group, or B, go in total and complete isolation.
Yeah, and I mean, you're one of the nicest dudes, but there's moments where it would be like you were so mad that you couldn't deal with anyone talking to you anymore. You just left, and it was definitely different for you. So I'm glad that's over with. Maybe that cyst is what caused it. It probably was. I mean, neurologically speaking, most likely that caused your,
Everything did change since that fall happened.
So
my life completely changed because of that one fall.
You don't think, though, that might have had something to do with your family's prehistory with the extraterrestrials and the weirdness and the sleep terrors? Maybe the cyst was causing your night terrors.
Yeah, that's what, I hinted about that, but do I still believe him? Do I have bouts with him now? Yeah, I still have bouts. I can be at a party, and I'm tired. I'm always tired. And I can lay back and, start snoring before someone yells my name, tell me to wake up or go to bed. Yeah, I have, some form of terror. Yeah.
Well, I don't know, James. I know that things seem like they're going better.
They're going much better. I'm happy to be here at this point in my life compared to where I was 2 years ago.
You do sound a lot happier. Your voice sounds more relaxed than it did for a while there.
Yeah, it was definitely I wasn't a happy camper.
But the Bell UFO being part of your family, we have to sit down and talk about that more because that's amazing.
Well, to me, it's just another, family story. I didn't know it was such an amazing thing for someone like you.
That's a big event, dude.
Yeah, it was definitely a big event.
That's a big event for a lot of people because a lot of people had that encounter, but not a lot of people you talk to know someone that actually experienced it, especially on their land.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, because like up to the point where my grandfather passed, I mean, he still owned the land, but he still couldn't go there.
Yeah, it had that big a resounding effect on him.
Well, the property was mysteriously claimed by the government.
Oh yeah, just mysteriously.
Uh-huh. And all it was just a fenced off area. That had little couple little shacks on it, and of course the service road, which was one on his property.
Huh.
So he had to give right away. For the military.
That is, I know you don't get it, but that's a big deal, man. Like that encounter, that UFO, that's one of the bigger things in the UFOlogy history there. And MUFON would love to talk to you, I'm sure. And I don't speak for them. Those guys would love to hear about it. I know conspiracy guys that go off on just that one event. And they've built a career over that one event. The Bell UFO. That's a big deal, man. And I'm very surprised that it just happened to happen on the show that you knew about it.
Yeah, kind of grew up around it.
Well, guys, I hate to say it, we're getting about that time where I've got to go to bed because I'm getting old and fat and lazy and tired. James, thank you for being on the show. Thank you for sharing that encounter, dude.
Oh, no worries.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you again real soon. I'll be on Xbox tomorrow. We'll have to talk some more.
All right. Happy Easter, everybody.
Happy
Thank you
Easter.
for watching Vanishing Gates.
All right, James. I love you. I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
All right. See you, brother.
Guys, that might not seem like a big deal to some of you guys, but that bell-shaped UFO thing, that encounter, that's a huge deal. James didn't realize what his grandfather had experienced. That's been around for a long time, that story. Read about it in books as a kid in the Time Warner series or Time Life series, whatever. They had the little, books. Oh my gosh, that's insane. And James just happened to know about it. I wasn't even going to do a show tonight. I was so disheartened. I was a bit bummed because my co-host just flaked completely. Both of them. We started a half hour late. I was kind of heartbroken. Couldn't get my stuff to work because we were doing technical stuff earlier this week and the settings got changed. Well, our tech guru guy Nick fixed that, so here we are live. Wanted to do a show where we had your guys' input, talked about stuff you guys wanted to talk about, what you wanted us to cover, and I think we got there for the most part. That said, if there's other topics and questions you guys want us to cover, please email me at vanishinggates@gmail.com and type those in and let me know. I'll read them on the air. If you have encounters or weird stories, if you experience things, email me again at vanishinggates@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, YouTube, here on the Facebooks. Don't forget to share, like, follow, subscribe, yada, yada, yada. I'm regurgitating myself now. But please check us out. Please follow. Our website is getting worked on again. We are just about to revamp that thing. We're trying to make it so we can multicast on different areas at one time live. Right now we're doing the live on Facebook, putting it up on YouTube later, then on Twitch, etc., blah, blah, blah. So guys, have a wonderful night. Happy Easter to all of you. As always, I am your host, the weird, the strange, the Fortean of course. And the paranormal, Jay. On behalf of Jack and Paco, have a good night, guys. We love you very much. Keep with us. You're amazing. Without you, we wouldn't have a show. See you guys soon.